Let's explore the remarkable literary journey of Evelyn Waugh, one of the sharpest satirists and most elegant stylists of 20th century English fiction. His full name was Arthur Evelyn St. John Waugh, born in 1903. Though remembered mainly for his novels, Waugh was also a gifted biographer, travel writer, and reviewer. His novels often drew upon his own life experiences from his school days to his travels and wartime service, and were praised for their precision of language and biting humor. Before the outbreak of the Second World War, Waugh became famous for his satirical novels, works that exposed the absurdities of modern English society. Among his early successes were Decline and Fall, published in 1928, and Vile Bodies, released in 1930. Both of these titles have been asked in exam. Waugh continued this satirical streak with books like Black Mischief in 1932 and Scoop in 1938, mocking everything from colonial politics to journalism. After the war, his tone deepened, and he began to explore questions of faith, morality, and human purpose. One of his most celebrated novels, Brideshead Revisited, published in 1945, captured this transformation beautifully. This title too has been asked in exam. The novel explores the relationship between beauty and belief, centering on themes of Catholic faith, nostalgia, and divine grace. Waugh himself had converted to Roman Catholicism in 1930, a turning point that has been mentioned in exam. In the 1950s, Waugh wrote his celebrated war trilogy, beginning with Men-at-Arms in 1952, followed by Officers and Gentlemen in 1955, and ending with Unconditional Surrender in 1961. Collectively, these novels are often referred to as the Sword of Honor trilogy. They examine the moral confusion of wartime Britain, contrasting heroism and bureaucracy, faith and futility. Among his other important works is Helena, published in 1950, a historical novel about the mother of Emperor Constantine the Great. It focuses on a crucial moment in early Christian history, a theme that allowed Waugh to explore both faith and skepticism in his characteristic blend of wit and reverence. Waugh also ventured into the realm of short fiction. One of his notable stories, The Man Who Liked Dickens, portrays a chilling captivity in the jungle, and this story has been asked in exam. Interestingly, its scenario later inspired one of his darkest novels, A Handful of Dust, where a similar fate awaits the protagonist. Let's look more closely at his major novels now. Decline and Fall, published in 1928, was Waugh's first novel, and yes, that fact has been asked in exam. It's a brilliant social satire inspired by his own experiences as a school teacher. The story follows Paul Pennyfeather, an innocent Oxford student expelled for indecent behavior, something he didn't actually commit. This expulsion too has been mentioned in exam, so note that. Paul's journey takes him into the absurd world of British society, where he becomes a teacher at a rundown private school and later gets involved with Margot Beste-Chetwynd, a glamorous but morally dubious socialite. Margot's secret business, a white slave trade, leads to Paul's imprisonment, only for her to later engineer his escape. In a delicious twist, Paul quietly returns to Oxford under a new identity, pretending to be his own cousin. The novel's humor is outrageous, but beneath it lies a biting critique of hypocrisy, privilege, and moral decay. Waugh's A Handful of Dust, published in 1934, is often considered his finest novel, and both its publication year and reputation have been asked in exam. The novel captures the moral emptiness of modern life, a recurring Waugh theme. It was shaped by his failed first marriage and his growing Catholic faith, a biographical connection that has been mentioned in exam. The protagonist, Tony Last, is a traditional English gentleman devoted to his Gothic estate, Hetton Abbey. That detail, Tony's love for Hetton, has appeared in exam, so keep it handy. His wife, Brenda, is unfaithful, beginning an affair with John Beaver, a shallow social climber. The novel draws disturbing parallels between the corruption of London's upper class and the barbarity of the jungle, where Tony eventually finds himself trapped after a failed expedition. In a chilling finale, Tony is captured by Mr. Todd, a deranged recluse who forces him to spend his days reading Dickens aloud forever. This strange punishment ties back to Waugh's recurring theme of civilization versus barbarism. The ending is both tragic and darkly ironic. Tony's last words imply it's better to exist in squalor than Hetton. That unforgettable irony makes this novel a cornerstone of modern satire. Now we come to Waugh's most emotionally complex work, Brideshead Revisited, published in 1945, a fact that has been tested in exam. The story spans from the 1920s to the early 1940s, tracing the spiritual and emotional journey of Charles Ryder, an artist who becomes deeply entangled with the aristocratic Flight family. This relationship, too, has been mentioned in exam. The Flights live in the grand Brideshead Castle, a symbol of both faith and fading glory. Charles's bond with Sebastian and later Julia Flight mirrors his shifting understanding of beauty, love, and divine purpose. Beneath the nostalgic charm of aristocratic life, Waugh explores the operation of divine grace, how faith persists even when it's denied. The story unfolds within a devout Roman Catholic family, where initial indifference gradually gives way to spiritual awakening. By the novel's end, faith triumphs quietly but powerfully, illuminating the soul of the entire narrative. Evelyn Waugh's writing manages to blend satire with moral seriousness, laughter with longing. His early novels mock the superficial world of modern society, while his later works wrestle with timeless questions: good versus evil, faith versus doubt, civilization versus barbarism. He died in 1966, leaving behind a literary legacy that remains both entertaining and profound. Waugh once said that he wanted to make people realize the civilization they live in is an illusion. Through his wit, faith, and precision, he did exactly that, holding up a mirror to the modern world and making us laugh even as we reflect